It doesn't have to be white. It can be a black line. Sorry to say. I've gotten people married in 1 minute and 60 seconds because I was busy. It can be, you can lie to your spouse. In this situation, so the issue with this is that.
Okay, can they lie in the context of, for example, if one says, I sense that you've got a second wife, can he say, no, I don't?
Yes, you can. You can say that.
You can say that.
Yes, I personally believe that.
Mohammed Hijab, a well-known figure in the Islamic Dawah community, has been exposed for having a secret wife. But it's not just that. He made her believe that they were going to build a family, a real family, together, and that he'd take care of her. According to her, after they had sex, Mohammed Hijab then revealed to her that all he really wanted was a hotel marriage, which is a setup where they secretly meet up at a hotel just for sex, with no emotional support, no financial responsibilities, or anything that comes with a proper marriage. So in this video, I'm going to show you why Mohammed Hijab is a fraud that uses the Islamic text to justify him manipulating people for his personal benefits. So the lady in this video actually did an interview with Ali Dawah, who most of you know Ali Dawah is a good friend of Mohammed Hijab. She was told by Ali Dawah not to mention Mohammed Hijab's name, and she obliged. She did not mention his name throughout the interview. Despite this, Ali Dawah still told her he was not going to publish the video. Now, this says a lot about these guys. After hearing the story, a YouTube channel called Behind Veils did an interview with the sister just to share her story. I want us to begin by watching this first clip.
I never thought that one day I'm going to have to come out publicly on social media and speak about something like this. People who work for Islam and to protect our religion have always been more than family to me. And Mohammed Hijab in specific, I had a lot of respect and trust in him because of how scholars are praising him worldwide, and obviously because of his position and his knowledge and all of that.
Now, notice how she says she trusted him because of his status and the praises he got from scholars. Now, one thing you should know about hijab is that during the past years, especially with the Israel and Palestine crisis, Mohammed Hijab was one of those guys in the front line defending Palestine, especially on debates. So, because of this, many Muslims and Muslim scholars respected him a lot, but Mohammed Hijab would go on to use that trust to take advantage of people like Sister Aisha in this video by secretly marrying them. Now, that's just wrong.
I'm going to share this today, not because I want to, but because I have to. And I take an oath in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I'm only going to be sharing the truth. And my purpose is for the truth to prevail, and for justice to be served, and for there to be accountability, and that we don't give unconditional impunity to our elites, because this is not how our religion has been preserved. This is the story of my marriage to Mohammed Hijab, and how his actions that he claims are permissible by Allah have completely destroyed my life. I'm coming from a religious family. My father is part of the Dawah himself, organized Dawah work. I was part of an organized Dawah group in my own country growing up since I was a teenager. This is the life that I wanted to have, and I just wanted to make sure that when I die, I'm going to die on the faith of Islam.
This sister has dedicated her whole life to Dawah, which means inviting and guiding other people to Islam. She first met Hijab at one of those events where they ended up having a conversation and building some kind of connection from there. To be honest, in my opinion, I do think neither of them is really qualified to be doing Dawah. It seems like both of them lack a deep understanding of the religion, although you could maybe argue that Mohammed Hijab knows the religion better, but he's just using that knowledge to manipulate other people for his own gain, which makes it even worse.
So that's how we met. It was for a Dawah work that was liaised between us through an Islamic institute. Asked me a few questions about myself, if I was married. Told him I was going through a divorce. So he told me that he worked for an Islamic council at the time, He gave me his contact details and told me to contact me if I needed help and to go forward to that council to try and reconcile the marriage. He was very respectful. He was trying to help me. He knew all the details about that case and he was helping me throughout the whole process. Fast forward, he started giving me hints that he's interested in getting married to me. He spoke to me about himself, his family, his childhood, his preferences. He told me I am not like your ex-husband. Whatever you see on social media, don't worry because I'm very good as a husband.
So here, Mohammed Hijab told her not to worry about his image on social media. I wonder why.
Sick in the mind? Are you that mentally enslaved and intellectually subservient and intellectually molested and ideologically molested?
My life was extremely hard and he knew that, and I am his neighbor. I couldn't understand why he was giving me all those hints every time, but he never took that step. Whenever I found a suitor that I started considering to introduce to my father, it was extremely hard for me to navigate that by myself. Mohammed Hijab used to come back again. This cycle continued a few times. At that stage, I didn't know if he was divorced or not, until he asked for my hands. Formally, he told me, would you like to consider me as a husband? He told me it's going to be polygyny. At that stage in my life, I wasn't ready for polygyny. When he proposed to me, he told me it's polygyny. I asked him to give me some time to pray istikhara. I wasn't sure, but when I thought about it, I thought he's a good man. I think from what I see and from how the scholars are praising him, he is going to be capable of taking care of a big family. He is qawwam, he is a guardian, he is knowledgeable, he is religious, he is pious, and he is praiseworthy.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, when Mohammed Hijab started flirting with her and dropping hints that he liked her, why didn't she ask if he was married or divorced? She even said that she didn't know if he was divorced or not. So does that mean she knew Hijab was married? That's very interesting. Then there's the fact that Mohammed Hijab brought up the idea of polygyny. At first, she said she wasn't really into it, but then she thought, well, Hijab is well respected, scholars are praising him, and he seems like he can support a big family, so why not? Plus, he's super religious, so he wouldn't do anything shady to me. But was she wrong? She was very, very wrong. And also, she just assumed from the start that Hijab would take care of her and her family, which you'll hear later in the recording. She didn't even ask him directly or get a clear answer. And just to be clear, I'm not blaming her. A lot of us naturally assume that marriage comes with responsibilities like support and care. Sadly, there are men out there like Mohammed Hijab who act like they don't understand that. And with someone like that who seems like he's always just trying to find ways to bend the rules, you really have to spell things out.
Further to that, he was pushing the idea and reassuring me that I'm going to be very happy with him. Reassured me so many times and told me that I should never worry that he's not going to be keeping this family safe. He told me that he's ready and he's going to be taking care of everything.
Did you catch how she said Mohammed Hijab was making all these promises, telling her everything would be fine and that he'd take care of everything? I want you to keep that in mind as we go through the rest of the video because you're about to see the biggest 180 flip ever.
So there were so many things I took into consideration based on which I built my trust. Mohammed Hijab was trustworthy for me 100% for so many reasons. It's not only that he gave me his words and he's famous. I took time. I thought about it very deeply. I ticked boxes, a very long list of boxes. His mother, his care of his family, the fact he was able to keep his family together for a very long time with his kids, and he memorized the whole Quran. He's in the front line of the Dawah. He's praised. There is a testimony of hundreds of scholars around the world who are praising him.
I know some of you might be watching this video and thinking, why didn't she question him about this, or why didn't she ask him that? Well, this part makes it really clear. She fully trusted Mohammed Hijab. He literally could have told her the sky was green and she would have believed him. That's how much respect she had for him, and Hijab knew that, which is exactly why he felt comfortable treating her the way you're about to see.
He was placed in a position of marriage counseling, divorce in the Islamic Council. There were so many things. It was not for me just like the emotional element of it, because he expressed his feelings to me. But I had feelings for him too. It was not just that. For me, it was a very big, rigorous process that I took, based on which, at that stage, whatever promise he would make, I would trust him. إن قالها فقد صدق. I am excited. I am happy. I'm gonna have kids. And I was ready to have children. And we have the same ambition, the same lifestyle, the same priorities in life. All of a sudden, he stopped everything. He said, I think the best thing for me to do for you right now is that I wouldn't go ahead with this marriage. I was confused, especially after he opened up about his feelings. He spoke to my father. He's been pushing the idea forward. I had feelings for him too. I tried to get explanations from him, but he didn't give me any reply. So we stopped contact. It took me a very long time trying to recover, and we stopped contact completely.
So after she went through all the effort to properly vet Mohammed Hijab, and after he made all this kind promises, he suddenly backed out of the marriage. Looking back at it, it's very likely that Hijab was already working on another secret marriage, which is probably why he put this one on hold.
After like 8 months, he contacted me again. He apologized and said I couldn't go ahead with the marriage last time because I had personal reasons. I am back, I am here now, let's go ahead with this, I am ready, don't worry, we're gonna go ahead with this time, let's just make things quick. And he was rushing up the process. Obviously, I told him you have to talk to my father again, and like it was quite hard this time, especially that he told me he's not ready to make a big wedding back in my country. I told him that's okay. He said, I am not ready, I'm not able to go and meet your dad in person for personal reasons. And I trusted him. He said, let's do this over Zoom. It's actually halal, and you just have to convince your dad. But he told me I'm not ready to show my face. I was confused. I told him my dad is not going to agree to this.
So this is where things started getting really dark. Mohammed Hijab did not even want to meet her dad in person, which you're supposed to do in Islam. On top of that, he wouldn't even show his face on the Zoom call. Like seriously, how is that a real meeting? It literally could have been anyone talking behind the mic. Now, the whole point of meeting the guardian is that they can get a good feel for the guy and maybe spot any red flags the woman might miss. Mohammed Hijab knew exactly what he was doing. He was probably staying one step ahead of the game, probably thinking if this ever goes public, no one would be able to prove it was really me. I mean, this is honestly ridiculous.
My father told him that my daughter and her child go together and they are a trust around your neck, an amana. Told him, don't worry, they are going to be in very safe hands. He promised that he's going to be meeting my family later. My dad gave me the permission to go ahead with the marriage. After we consummated the nikah, Mohammed Hijab kept on reassuring me, told me, look, I am here for this. There is nothing that could possibly make me act like those players or those men that are incapable or not going to preserve their families and so on. And he told me, regardless of what could possibly happen, I'm going to preserve this family. Gradually, the new rules showed. He's not going to speak to my family ever. because he's Islamically not obliged to, he said. It's not necessary, it's going to give us more freedom. And he worked on convincing me of that opinion, Islamic opinion.
So right after the rushed wedding, Mohammed Hijab wasted no time and had sex with her. Then not long after that, he told her straight up that he was never going to meet her father in person, which he promised her before the marriage. Now this is just plain evil. Honestly, you could tell what Mohammed Hijab expectations were from the beginning. You could tell what he was really after from the beginning. And I'm sure now that this sister probably looks back at it and everything probably makes sense to her now, and she's like, I see what he was after all along.
I actually didn't even have to let them know that we did go ahead with the marriage, and that way we're going to have more freedom. Then he told me, look, let's just book a flight and go out of the country and just forget about that. Let's just have a good free life, and you're not going to have to explain yourself to anyone. Most of the marriages break because of the in-laws. Let's just not add more in-laws in the picture. After the nikah, Mohammed Hijab wanted a sex marriage. He wanted a hotel marriage. But it didn't stop there. There was more to come. He told me, listen, just act like a girlfriend. We're gonna have like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Don't worry, it's halal. We're married now. He wasn't asking about my rent, my provision. He never asked about those and never offered to pay for them.
Now, Mohammed Hijab straight up tells her that he only wants her for a hotel marriage, which basically means just meeting up at a hotel to have sex. No real commitment. It's like a hookup, basically. He doesn't want to talk to her during the day or help her with her bills or even be there for her emotionally. He only wants to see her when it suits him, just to have sex.
Then he went on a trip, a Dawah trip, and he told me that he was not ready to argue about my family situation. He said, don't worry, just delay it. We're going to talk about it when I come back. So we carried on. We had like interactions like a husband and wife. And I was waiting for him to come back in order for him to talk to my family and get their blessings. And I told them, my father is going to ask me now if we did go ahead with the marriage. I have to give him a reply. He told me, just lie. Delay it. Tell him we didn't go ahead with it yet. I was stuck because I can't talk to my father and tell him, well, the man I told you to blindly trust and sign a contract with him for marriage doesn't want to talk to you because he's Islamically not obliged to.
So this is the part that got most people confused, because they're like, I thought you guys already did the wedding over Zoom and everything. What they did on Zoom was basically the official thing where the dad gives his blessing, like on paper that we're married. But right after that, what was supposed to happen was that the husband and the wife were supposed to make it public, where the husband now takes the husband role and the wife takes the wife role, and the marriage starts from there. So this is where they were supposed to now start making moving arrangements, like living together, paying the bills and all that stuff. But Mohammed Hijab had no intentions of doing all that. Instead, he told her to lie to her dad and say whatever would get him off their backs. I bet if you ask Mohammed Hijab about modern dating, he's probably gonna tell you it's all around and wrong. Yet here is acting like a total player. The only difference is he's using Islam to cover it up. He pretended he wanted to marry this woman just to have sex with her, and once he got what he wanted, he tossed her aside like she meant nothing to him, like a trash bag basically. So here's a video of Mohammed Hijab basically explaining how he promotes hookup culture. I want you guys to take a look at this.
I've gotten people married in 1 minute and 60 seconds because I was busy. Honestly, someone comes to the office and say, listen, I need to get married, this and that. I say, listen, I need to go to the toilet. So this is going to have to be a quick one. I tell you the truth, I've even gotten people married on WhatsApp. And now there's a difference of opinion on the matter. But I was driving and this guy, he called me, he said, look, I'm going to commit haram. He goes, I've got 2 witnesses ready on this WhatsApp group. Can I add you and you do the thing? So I brought them in. I said to the woman, I said to her, listen, this guy's probably going to leave you. I know this guy. And he was like, what are you doing? You're here to try and make things easy for me. I said, but it's not fair on the poor woman because we know that you're a pernicious man. You're a khabith. And I said, what's the mahr? And the guy said, you don't want to hear this one. This was before McDonald's was on the boycott list. He goes, I'm going to give her a meal in McDonald's. I said, sister, don't do this. I said, at least have something. No, she said, I don't mind, I don't care, whatever. It happened, and he did, in fact, divorce her, unfortunately. But I said, I told you so, and that was it.
I mean, these guys criticize people in the West for hookup culture, but then they turn around and find loopholes in Islam to do the same exact thing. They try to make it seem like it's okay when they do it because they follow certain rules, certain Islamic rules, but when others do it, it's suddenly haram. I mean, doing a quick marriage over a McDonald's meal just to have sex and then immediately divorcing is honestly worse than two people going on a date, hanging out, having sex, and maybe staying in touch for a little bit before moving forward. That's the same hookup culture they love to condemn, but they're doing the same thing just under a different name. Here's a video of Mohammed Hijab explaining why, according to the Prophet, it's okay to have a secret marriage, and you can even go as far as to lie to your wife about a secret wife if they straight up ask you, do you have a secret wife or not? He said, according to the Prophet, you can lie. Now this is crazy. Watch this.
It doesn't have to be white. It can be a black lie. Sorry to say. I'm not. This idea of a white lie it's a modern day thing that people say. There's in the classical works. Yeah. There's no differentiation there here in the kutub. Like for example, that's not how people understood it. It can be you can lie to your spouse. In this situation, so the issue of this is that.
So can they lie in the context of, for example, if one says, I sense that you've got a second wife, can he say, no, I don't?
Yes, you can. You can say that.
You can say that.
Yes, I personally believe this is the hadith on the matter. لا يحل الكذب إلا في ثلاث. The Prophet said you can do it. I believe it's possible.
Now all of this stuff is starting to make sense. Now we know why Mohammed Hijab was on this podcast passionately defending the idea of having a secret wife. He probably came on this podcast trying to get validation from this women on here and these guys on here that it was okay to get a secret wife, so he could go back home and show his 10 other secret wives that, you see, it's okay to get a secret wife. Now we know why he was so passionate defending it. I mean, you could literally see the veins pop out in his head while he talks about having a secret wife. All this makes sense now.
Or she just asks him, where were you last night?
Yeah, but even that, he can lie. Impossible.
So let's get this right, yeah? So that Islamically, any of us can get a secret second wife.
Absolutely.
Or any man for that matter.
Not secret. We can get... Islamically, there is no problem in a man getting married to another woman in Misyar without the first wife's knowledge.
So here, Mohammed Hijab is pretending like he doesn't understand what the word secret means. This is a common tactic some so-called geniuses use. Jordan Peterson does this too. You'll ask him a simple question like, why is the sky blue? And then he'll respond with something like, well, what is sky? What is blue? What is? They do this to distract you and avoid actually answering the question.
I mean, please tell me, I don't think, I think there's bil ijma, meaning there's consensus that none of you guys are okay with your husbands getting a second wife. Can I just quickly get that out of the way? Sister Swad.
Absolutely not.
You're not okay with it? Yeah. Sister.
It's a no from me. And if you have anything to say it now.
She's threatening you're finished. Yeah. Sister Amira.
Yeah, no.
No, Sister Tyra.
And I won't be happy with it.
Okay, she won't be happy with it. Okay, now listen.
I like that response.
Now listen. Yeah, I love listening. Now listen to us brothers. Yeah. Okay, starting from Dawood. Yeah. Would you say you are polygamous by nature?
Hey, we had this conversation before.
Can we have you on the mic, please?
And I disagree with
No, I'm just asking a simple question. Let's not go into the nitty-gritty. All I'm saying is...
Let me save you some time and explain what he is really saying. What Ali Dawah is basically asking is, if your wife was okay with it, would you get a hotel wife where there's no strings attached? You just meet her at a hotel whenever it suits you. I honestly think that when guys like Ali Dawah and Mohammed Hijab talks about having a second wife, they don't actually think about the responsibility responsibilities that comes with it. In their minds, it's just about having a woman waiting for you in the hotel room. What they don't seem to understand is that even if a wife was okay with it, there are still plenty of men out here who would not want a second or third wife, because when people think of marriages, they think of commitment, time, and emotional support, not just quick hotel meetups. And to all the Muslim women out there who are completely against polygamy, I want you to pay close attention to this clip, because Hijab and his sister are actually giving you some valuable advice.
Ways that women can implement
no, Sister Amira, I'm asking a question.
where a husband cannot marry a second wife. If he agrees and signs on the day of the nikah, he cannot then go and get a secret wife.
That's the Hanbali method. But if somebody doesn't believe that, it's battered. He doesn't even acknowledge it. Yeah. And also, yes. I'm gonna give it to you. But after him, I want to ask you guys a question. Please, can you tell us the correct way of going about it so it's not secret?
But this is what she said. There's truth in what she said.
Of course.
The Hanbali madhab is actually mentioned in all the books of the Hanabala. Ibn Qudama mentions that. Dawi mentions that. Al-Hajjawi mentions, even Al-Mustaqna, Musa Al-Hajjawi mentions it. So many people mention it. Bahuti. So this is what you're saying is legitimate. Fact.
If you really want to make sure your husband doesn't take a second wife, you gotta put that in your marriage contract. I get it. He's your husband and you want to trust him. A lot of women can't even imagine their husbands going behind their backs, not just to cheat, but to secretly marry another woman. So to protect yourself, do the halal thing and write it into your contract. This is like a life hack for Muslim women who are against polygamy. That way, if your husband tries to pull the Quran says I can have multiple wives card, you can then respond with yes. And also Islam also allows me to put it in the contract that I don't want polygamy. Now watch this brother really drive it on with this point right here.
I'm trying to take it elsewhere. I'm trying to go deep. I want to go deep. So what I'm trying to say is that Islam, in the way that Islam has constructed marriage is like a communal thing. So there's always other people involved, but it will be a secret to the person that matters the most, which is the wife, right? And I don't think that that causes cohesion in the long term in a society. Imagine if we were to live in a society where there's a considerable amount of men who do this. And there's so many implications that come out of it. The children out of those marriages, do they know that they're siblings?
Thank you.
I'm so glad you've mentioned children.
So all these problems could.
Okay,
but yes, true. But why
Let me
is
just
the man
finish.
keeping it secret?
I'm just going to finish. I'm just going to finish.
Touch up on that. Why is the man keeping it secret?
Yeah, and I'm going to get there, and I'm with you on that one. I'm just saying that for those brothers who do these things, you must understand that the pain and the misery that could be a byproduct of this thing is tremendous. And therefore I wouldn't, like I said, not really.
This is a really valid point. Secret marriages can be super dangerous, especially when kids are involved. The kids might grow up not knowing if they're actually siblings or not. And this can lead to some serious problems later on. We're talking incest and that kind of stuff.
Your sister is just going to be jealous of you. She's older, she's never been married before. You're going to get used to this situation. It's halal, there is nothing wrong with it. Why are you making things difficult?
Mohammed Hijab just keeps saying his halal is halal. Well, just because it's halal doesn't mean that's what she wants.
Don't worry, I'm going to try not to get you pregnant. This is a real relationship. I'm going to keep this like this for the rest of our life. I told him, are you going to change this for what you promised me at a later time? He said, no. This arrangement works the best for me, and I have no intention of changing it. As soon as he said that, I asked for divorce.
Of course, that arrangement is what works best for him, because he probably has like 10 other secret wives and he cannot afford to be there for all of them. I could really see Mohammed Hijab saying this. Yes, this is what's best for me. I cannot, this is literally how Hijab would talk. This is what's best for me. Why didn't he tell her this before getting involved?
He confirmed that he had no intention of paying the bills or the rent. He said, you didn't ask me for that when we were getting married. He said that he just wanted to have full discretion. Everything is up to him. He will never change the hotel ever. He will never speak to my family ever. He's not going to be paying for anything. And we're not going to have kids. Not going to be taking care of my daughter. Nothing. We're never going to have a home. Every word he uttered was trauma for me. Every single one of them harmed me, carved wounds inside my heart. I was sick. I was traumatized. I was shocked.
Now, watching this part of the video for the first time really hit me emotionally. Here's a woman who fully trusted him, thinking she was finally going to have some peace and a real home for herself and her daughter, but just for Mohammed Hijab to turn around and basically says, just kidding, you're only good enough for a hotel marriage. I can't even imagine how heartbroken and hurt she must have felt.
I was not ready to hear that. I asked for divorce. And he gave it to me. And he was very angry. He said, why are you refusing something that is halal? This is misyar. Why are you not accepting it? He was very angry. He said, what am I going to tell my friends now? And I was confused. You have completely destroyed my life.
Again, just because something is allowed doesn't mean you have to do it. Like, if eating pork was allowed, that still wouldn't mean I'd eat it. What if I just don't like pork? That's the same idea. She also said Hijab got upset when she asked for a divorce, and he told her he didn't know how he was going to explain it to his friends. But honestly, I think that was just a manipulation tactic. He was probably trying to make her think he cared and was heartbroken, when in reality, he was likely over her and didn't really mind letting her go. He just had to act like he was hurt just to keep up the image. That's like classic manipulation, like manipulation 101.
My emotions, my mental health, my physical health, my social interactions. I broke. There is no one to take care of my daughter at all. I was completely broken. Many years of interactions, nice promises, speaking to my father and promising him many nice things, telling me that there is love in this and so on. And at the end, that's what I ended up with. After we argued a lot after our divorce, he told me, look, I can take you back if you want to accept what I asked from you. I said, obviously, I will never accept something like that. I couldn't even believe that he was asking me something like that at all. I was sick.
Now, this really shows how little respect Hijab had for her. It's one of those situations where you think, wow, how could you even ask me that? Just the fact that he asked says a lot about how little he actually valued or respected her.
After some time, again, during my iddah, he told me, okay, look, I'm going to fix up everything now. Going to involve your family and all those things that we agreed to. I couldn't trust him anymore. I contacted the sheikh and I was like, I really don't know what I have to do. I don't know whether or not to trust him anymore. In our final interaction, he was like, look, that arrangement of meeting in hotels is what I was looking for. And I thought you are the best suitor for that kind of marriage. It is halal. And that's the only arrangement that works for me. And I'm really sorry, but that's all what I wanted. He called it sex marriage. He called it a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. And all of these things were mentioned after he got married to me.
So Mohammed Hijab came back for the third time and told her he was finally willing to meet her family, but only if she agreed to a hotel marriage. That's honestly just cruel. The whole time he was promising her a real marriage, feeding her dreams, and making her believe it was something serious. But once he got what he wanted and felt like he had the upper hand now, he admitted he only wanted her for sex. It would have been a totally different story if he was honest from the beginning and she agreed to it, but instead he strung her along for years, kept her hopeful about meeting her family and having a future, only to betray her like that. That's just plain evil.
After he dragged me emotionally for years, for him I was giving up on so many real options for marriage. I wanted to have kids. I wanted to take care of myself. I needed guardianship, me and my daughter, because I can't play both roles. I was struggling a lot. This is the guy I got married to, and I thought, alhamdulillah, finally I am safe. Mohammed Hijab was the only man in this country I could ever possibly trusted this much. He knew everything about my life, my ambition, my background, my family. He knew everything. He knew my father is a very old man. He knew that I would struggle a lot to find a suitable husband because there is no one to help me vet anybody. He reassured me a lot about all of these details. Told me, you are in safe hands. I will take very good care of you, keep you safe. He told me I am not like those men who trash women the next day. He told me that he fights against feminism. After he married me, he wanted me to be independent. He told me if I take care of all the women around me and I deal with all their needs, I'm never going to be able to do anything for the da'wah. He didn't want to pay for the bills. He said, you didn't ask for it during the nikah.
This is wild. He told her that since she didn't ask him to pay her bills when they were getting married, he's now not responsible for it. But isn't financial support one of the basic responsibilities in an Islamic marriage? What's the point of having multiple wives if you can't take care of them? The irony is unreal. This is the same guy who speaks out against feminism, says women should depend on men, and he also criticized red pill creators. Yet here he is using the same exact talking points. Remember earlier when I said Mohammed Hijab probably has like 10 secret wives? Well, this pretty much just confirmed it. He told her that if he had to support all the women in his life, he wouldn't be able to focus on Dawah. And let's not forget, Mohammed Hijab makes a good amount of money from YouTube and also all his donations. That tells you everything you need to know about how he is treating his so-called secret wives.
He wanted me to play both the role of a man and a woman in my life. He used to fight the red pill movement, and now he was using their own statements with me. It's okay, you're gonna get used to it, boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. I don't think that there is anyone who could ever possibly get to understand the degree of damage this whole thing has caused me. Mohammed Hijab for me was a representation of 23 years of da'wah. For me, he was a role model. He was a man of knowledge. He was someone I respected and I did put at a very high scale. I followed the exact same process that we normally use, based on which we get to trust men of religion who are sharing with us the Quran and Sunnah. When I realized that I was going through an extremely horrible mental health crisis, I reached out to one of the shuyukh. I just wanted someone to help me understand what happened. My trauma did grow even bigger because Mohammed Hijab's reaction to that was crazy. He started threatening me as well, to silence me openly. He was like, listen, if you're going to expose this, I can get away with it. I can say anything as an excuse. And you're not gonna get nothing from that. No one is gonna have pity on you. Women will not. Men will not. I can give any excuse. I can tell them I was sexually not satisfied. In fact, I don't even have to give any excuse whatsoever. I gave you a mahr. There were 2 witnesses. That's it. Done. It was sealed. I'm safe. I never ever imagined these kind of actions would come from him, ever. Anyone, but not him.
Now, this right here is insane. Mohammed Hijab clearly knows he has a loyal fan base that's gonna support him no matter what. Anytime he does something questionable, he tries to back it up by saying it's in the Quran or Hadith. Honestly, it seems like Mohammed Hijab spends his whole life just searching for loopholes in Islamic texts just to justify his messed up behaviors. What Mohammed Hijab and his hardcore fans who think he can do no wrong needs to understand is that just because something isn't considered a sin in Islam doesn't mean you have to do it. Let's flip it. Like, I'm not obligated to give money to a beggar when I myself are struggling, but I still do it sometimes because it's just a decent thing to do. Being a good person goes beyond just checking boxes.
So he followed a list of Islamic rulings, as he claims, and nothing of what he did was actually haram. It's Islamically alright to give false promises to a woman you intend to get married to. You're Islamically not obliged to fulfill those promises. You are not obliged Islamically to speak to your in-laws. You don't even have to ask for their blessings after the nikah and congratulations. It's Islamically okay to live in a hotel. The husband can go to wherever he wants with his wife. He's not obliged to pay for anything. He's not obliged to provide because I didn't need provision. It's Islamically okay not to have kids. The Sahaba used to avoid having kids. It's Islamically okay to keep everything secret, to preserve the marriage, even if you are to show up in the hotel separately and come out from it separately. The shuyukh I reached out to them made me even more traumatized. Some of them said, he is right. All these things are halal, as long as the 4 pillars of nikah were met.
Now, this is honestly ridiculous. She said some scholars are backing Mohammed Hijab and they're telling her that what he's doing is technically allowed. Remember what I told you? Mohammed Hijab spent his whole life just trying to find loopholes in the Islamic text. Honestly, I don't know how a religion can allow stuff like this. I think most Muslims don't even realize that certain things like this are permitted under specific interpretations. The fact that she had to ask if all this was true shows that she didn't know these parts of the religion. That's why it's so important for people to really learn and understand the core teachings of their faith, not just follow what someone else says. Mohammed Hijab, to his credit, seems to know the religion very well. He's figured out all the loopholes and uses them to his advantage. So when people try to call him out, he knows how to twist the arguments and win the debate with facts. By facts, I mean he is stated in some text. You've got to give that to him. He's pretty smart with how he defends himself, even if what he's doing is messed up.
You can't know what his intention is, but his intention is actually very clear. This is a no-string marriage. He said that with the intention of divorce. He articulated that. He encouraged others to go for these options. He openly and proudly said there is nothing wrong with marriage with the intention of divorce. And through deception, because actually a man is not obliged to Islamically fulfill his promises. There were no actions taken. I asked for help. I wanted these things to be resolved between scholars. I asked for justice. I wanted there to be actions taken. I was harmed. I was harmed. My life was harmed. He completely destroyed me and he was proud of it. You have completely destroyed my life and that of my daughter. All the ambition and emotions and dreams I had for religion, I wanted to be part of. Everything that I wanted in my life, that is completely destroyed because of you. I do ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be the judge. I am never going to forgive you. Every breath of time that I have gone throughout all these years, because of you, in your falsehood, in your oppression, in your transgression, I do ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to pay me back for that. I will never forgive you.
This is really sad, man. You can hear the pain in her voice. Hijab is a pathetic excuse for a human being, and there is no way the God he claims to worship would be okay with how he treated her. Now, I want you to watch this short clip from this Muslim brother and hear his take on the issue.
Again, I remind that in Islam, the bar is set very, very high when you accuse other people. And just to give the main example, that if you see someone committing fornication, even if you saw it with your own eyes, but you can't go and expose that, you can't go and publicize it. If you do, right, you'll be lashed by the Islamic authorities, and the people that did this, all right, they'll get off scot-free, unless you can provide 4 witnesses that can definitively say that we saw the action in a clear and explicit manner. Unless you can provide that, which is a very, very high bar, right, then you're not allowed to make the accusation, even if you know it's 100% true. That is the bar that Islam has set. So you are innocent until proven guilty. So now the brother's character cannot be tarnished. They cannot be used against him.
Now, this is the version of Islam Mohammed Hijab follows. Imagine being a victim of rape, and even if, let's say, you happen to be lucky and one person happened to witness it, by the time they go get 3 more people, which is what's required, the act is already over by then. Meanwhile, you're left with the trauma for life, and the attacker walks free. And if you try to report it to the Islamic authorities without the required witnesses, you're the one who could be punished for making a false accusation. Same goes for catching your spouse cheating. It doesn't count unless 4 people saw it happen. Just think about this for a second. This is the interpretation Mohammed Hijab follows. So when you hear him passionately defending secret marriages or saying it's okay to lie to your main wife, it's because he actually believes he can back it all up using Islamic text. So let's wrap up the video and quickly talk about Mohammed Hijab's response. He released a video where he used AI to change his voice, and he shared the link to Twitter, which is why most people believe it's actually him responding. And if you listen closely, the AI says things that Hijab often says himself, using the same kind of language he's known for. And the video also includes screenshots from Hijab's perspective, which tells you is legit.
Does he have any children, any kids himself?
Yes, and I'm making dua on them as well.
You're making dua on his children as well?
Yes. Their atoms, their cells, their bodies give him cancer.
There have been some serious accusations made against Mohammed Hijab by a woman whom we will demonstrate has had a persistent and concerning obsession with him.
Kids, I wanted to take care of myself. I needed guardianship, me and my daughter, because I can't play both roles.
As viewers can observe, the voice and accent clearly match that of the individual in the video. The following points can be shown without a doubt from these messages. 1. She is persistently initiating contact with Hijab. She proposes a misyar-type marriage to him, in which she even acknowledges that she can be divorced if things don't work out. She states she is willing to give up on equal rights. Hijab in response warns her against pursuing this kind of marriage. 2.
Mohammed Hijab is claiming that she suggested a misyar type marriage, and he's using that as an excuse for how he treated her. For those who don't know, a misyar marriage is a type of marriage where a couple agrees to give up some of the usual rights and responsibilities that comes with a traditional marriage. This type of marriage can be allowed in certain cases, like if the husband is struggling financially and cannot provide a home. But Hijab is clearly taking advantage of this idea and using it to justify treating her poorly. He is completely exploiting the concept. So let me save you some time and list out for you Hijab's 4 main arguments of why this lady is a fraud. Number 1, she accepted the misyar marriage. So Hijab is saying that the lady was well aware of the situation and she accepted the secret marriage. Okay. Number 2, she was obsessively texting him while he was replying with short responses. So since she was obsessively texting Hijab is claiming that this makes her a stalker. Hijab is saying that she was obsessed with him and would not leave him alone. Number 3, she cursed Hijab with cancer and his children also. Based on this, she's not a Muslim, according to Hijab. Okay. Number 4, she said she's willing to shake hands with the devil just to see Hijab suffer. Based on this statement, according to Hijab, she's not a Muslim. The fact that she's willing to shake hands with the devil just to see Hijab suffer makes her not a Muslim, and therefore she's a fraud and basically a plant that's been sent to take down Hijab by non-Muslims who are trying to attack Hijab and bring him down. Okay, these are basically his 4 arguments, and I'll let you take it however you want to take it. So me personally, I think Mohammed Hijab is a fraud. Now let me get personal here for a second. I grew up in a Muslim community for a big part of my childhood, okay, and from what I've seen, most Muslims understand that getting a second wife usually involves the first wife's consent. Sometimes the first wife even helped choose the second one. So this whole idea of having a secret wife really feels off to me. Honestly, I don't even know if there's an actual proof that Islam allows secret marriages like that. it just feels morally wrong. But hijab goes out his way to dig through religious tags just to try and justify what he's doing. That's probably why a lot of Muslim scholars are not calling him out, because technically they cannot easily argue against him using the Quran. And that's what makes people like Mohammed Hijab so dangerous. They know people look up to them for religious guidance, so they find loopholes and use them, even if their logic is flawed, because they know the average Muslim doesn't have the knowledge to challenge them. Now, I'm gonna leave it here, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comment below. Let me know where you disagree with me, where you agree with me. I try to be as honest as possible and not be biased, okay? Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Just remember, you don't know what you don't know. Stay blessed.